Spotify is saying, hey, I'm about to pay you X amount of $1 million. People assume that I always get invited places, but no.
What is that fire that says, okay, I'm gonna keep posting? Today's guest. Let me tell you about today's guest. I am honored to have my guest on today. So we'll talk about numbers first, stats. So on social media, over 4,000 followers on Facebook, over 4,000 followers on Instagram, over 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and on TikTok, over 13,000 followers on TikTok. So we're gonna get into what she's got going on here. This sister, she is a speaker, she's a creator, she's an influencer. She is the host of the Just Ask podcast. This sister is also a daughter. She's a sister. She is an auntie. She is a dog mom. Jessica. Thank you, Jessica S. Smith. Thank you for taking the time.
You know what? You're the only.
Taking the time.
You know what? You're the only person has ever introduced me right with my middle initial.
Okay.
I am big on that, so thank you for that. So Jessica S. Smith.
So what's the S? That's what we need to.
But, okay. So quick story. I went to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide.
All right.
And because just imagine being 30,000, 40,000 students. How many Jessica Smiths you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they gave me an email with Jessica S. Smith at crimson.ua.edu. Yeah. And I kept that because it made all the sense in the world to make sure that people knew who I was. Okay. So I changed my social media and all that good stuff. So I just appreciate Jessica S. Smith so people can know it's me.
Okay. Okay. So I got a few things I want to get into, and the social media piece is kind of the end. First, I want to know about you. So my real first curiosity is, why did you even want to start a podcast?
I didn't.
All right.
Quick answer, I didn't.
Okay.
But why I went through with it was because I have a spiritual father. His name is Christian T. Howell. And he had a podcast at the time. And he was just telling me, hey, Jessica, you need to start a podcast. I mean, it was like 2 months straight that he was working my last nerve about getting a podcast. And so I just trusted him. I lived my life, God first, family second, career third. Okay. And so because he was my spiritual father, I was growing up in the faith, I just trusted his word and what he saw on my behalf. And I'm glad I did, because I didn't know what a podcast was, but I was already doing it. Okay. That's the weird thing about it. Like the only thing I wasn't doing was like stripping the audio, but I was already present on YouTube, trying to show up weekly there. Okay. Wasn't doing the best job, but I did it like a show. Like I was interviewing people already. Okay. I was interviewing my friends. And like, he was just like, Jessica, you need to start a podcast. I just see this. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm doing. And so I just trusted his word. And so October 20th, 2022 was my first episode release.
Okay. You've had over 150 episodes.
Yeah.
What is it now at this point that's keeping you going? What is that fire that says, okay, I'm gonna keep posting?
I really feel like interactions. I love communicating. I love learning new things. And this is the space I get to do that. I've seen myself grow in the last almost 4 years into just I won't say completely different woman, but I've come out of my shell. I've freed myself from been able to be freed from a lot of things. I'm more transparent. And so I just enjoy the woman I'm becoming on this journey. And so what keeps me going is the motivation like you, like being able to interact with you, other podcasters, other creators, other business owners. That's really my motivator. And, you know, money don't hurt either, but we're growing into that. But I wasn't thinking about money when I first started podcasting. I was thinking about impact.
Okay. What would you say to the person who, you know, is just starting out and they're trying to figure out, they want to make money. Money is on the mind first. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there something wrong with that? If money becomes that first focus when they're trying to start a podcast?
I can see where that could frustrate you, especially when you don't know what you're doing. Because most people that start in podcasts don't have like contracts or like these people that sponsor them or these contracts with like Spotify, Apple or whatnot. They're not getting that just off rip. Like you're not Michelle Obama coming out in Spotify saying, hey, I'm about to pay you X amount of $1 million to do that. So your story is going to look different. And I think getting captivated with the coin first. Now, podcasting gives you an opportunity to enhance what you're already doing. That's why I would say that if there was one thing I would have done differently, I wish I would have had like a business already, so I could market that. But I've done it backwards. I love my story, I love my journey. But if there was one thing I would have done differently, I probably would have had like my business set up or a business set up, but I didn't know what I wanted to do at the time. And so they have an advantage if they have a business, but if they don't have a business, well, I say still keep going, because influence pays off, right? Currency is different for me. It's not just a coin; it is a relationship collateral, right? So I have built great relationships that are priceless, and based on the relationship I've had priceless experiences. You get what I'm saying? And so for somebody that is focused on the money, I would say have that as a goal, but focus on the process. The process is going to pay off.
How has networking and relationship building helped you in your business, in your podcast, and everything that you're doing?
Oh, it's helped me in multiple ways. I think David Shands for one. I went to the first podcast summit in Miami. Okay, this is good.
I want to hear that. I heard a little bit of that story, but I want to know that. I was gonna get to that, but I said I want to know that story because it was like, wait a minute, what are you doing going all the way to Miami?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So let me backtrack. Okay. So I was I met this young lady, and I was 20 something still. I met this young lady who was in graphic design in Birmingham. So her and I was doing relationship at the time, and meaning like friendship. Yeah. You got to be specific. You got to be specific. Okay. We were doing friendship, and she put me in a group called Good to Go. That group was for graphic designers because I was just introducing myself to Canva or whatnot. And so Good to Go was ran by the Marshall Fox. He is a graphic designer. He's not just a graphic designer. He is a marketing, a website builder. Like he understands the whole thing. Marshall has done things for not only David Shands, but Inky, Eric Thomas. Like they're their go-to. That's his go-to person. I was coached by him. He actually invited me at some point while I was in the group to a inaugural coaching session with him or whatever, and it was like I think we did it for about 6 months or whatnot. It was about 15 of us maybe, but from there I learned him. I grew with him. He got to know me, and he's actually responsible for my newest logo for Just Ask. So he and I are still like in contact, and I really love and value our relationship. Well, when the first podcast summit happened in Miami, he spoke at the first one. Hasn't spoken since, but he spoke at the first one, right? And I was like, I hadn't met him in person. That's the beautiful thing about social media, the internet, or whatever. You'll have these relationships via social media, but you haven't met the person physically. So I wanted to meet Coach Marshall, and then I had just started my podcast, right? So I was like, okay, let me kill two birds with one stone. Let's see what this podcast is about. I don't know. I knew of David Shands, but I wasn't studying him. I didn't know anything about MMU. I just knew that he was the guy that does the podcast, and helps entrepreneurs. I didn't know that much, but I wanted to go see Marshall. When I got into the room in Miami, I went by myself. I had a general admission ticket. I stepped out my comfort zone because I could be very introverted when I don't know people. But I was so focused. I was like, I did not waste my time nor my funds to get here to play around. And so that first day I sat down and I think my mind was just blown with how much information I was missing. I thought I did some good research when I first started my podcast, but what was embedded in that room was different. It was just different. And it was I think he had about 700, 800 people in his first one. But it was something that Donnie said that stuck out to me that really made me leave that space and just take off. Well, there were two things, not that she said, but Donnie said something, and Omar El Takouri's presence changed my life there. And so Donnie said that you're treating your podcast like a hobby. And she starts to elaborate, and I felt so convicted. Like, I felt like those words like really shifted me, because it was like, you out here playing, and you need to be taking this serious. And so when I wrote that down, I hit the ground running after that. But then also Omar, if you know Omar El Takori, Content the Cash King, that's what I like to call him.
You've had him on your podcast.
I've had him on my podcast, and I thank the Lord for that. It was just such a awesome experience. But his presence there, and I told him that after, I was like, it was, when you're in ministry, a lot of ministries don't focus on marketplace, and they don't come out of ministry or the church world to present themselves in the marketplace. And Omar did it. It was only a handful of people that I've seen did it, but he, actively spoke about it when he was teaching us, and just telling us how they kind of like worked together for him being a pastor or whatever. He just briefly mentioned it, and it just blew my mind. And so then with those two things, I had the responsibility for me, because I said God first, family second, career third, to act on what the Lord had given me. Okay. Like, this at this point is not my podcast, it's the assignment of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And this is if I take my faith seriously, then I need to, lean into that. So after that, I said, Lord, if I have the opportunity to pay for this program, which was 7-Figure Podcast Community, I was one of the inaugural members. It was at a price. If this price or lower, I'm doing it. And it was at that price or lower, and I jumped on it. Okay. I jumped on it, and so that was my experience, my first podcast summit experience.
Wow. I'm a fast forward, and this is something I admire, is your episode 100.
Oh God.
Episode 100. Your episode 100. A very good episode. I watched your episodes, but episode 100 was a powerful episode. Yeah. So there are a couple of things. Number one, that number. What was it like to get to that number? And then number two, the guests that you had. I want to get into, because folk need to watch episode 100. But yeah.
So to get to episode 100, yes. I cried. I cried think about it sometimes, because I'm like, even when you said like, man, to be at 150 episodes, it's been so many times I've given up on myself, just because I didn't feel qualified. I didn't see what I thought I would be. I didn't enjoy the process. And for me, 100 meant you're a podcaster. It meant that you took yourself seriously. It meant that you didn't give up. It meant that no one can take 100 episodes from you. No one can take that consistency from you. No one can take that drive from you. And so to get to 100, it was like, oh yeah, she that girl. Like, she does this for real. And so I was emotional about it. I was so proud of myself. I don't know if I've ever been as proud as I was the day I reached 100 episodes.
And then the guests that you had, and it was I just had to say it was just a really good episode. So what was it like, because you to actually do that episode, the guests that you had on that episode, what did that feel like?
It felt rewarding. Okay. It felt like I was celebrating. So the guests I had, just to let your audience know, Tabitha Brown. Right. It was rewarding, I will say that, because the previous year I had moderated for her book tour. I did a new thing, and that was mind blowing within itself on even how I got that opportunity. And it was because I didn't realize, watch this, I didn't realize people were watching me, but I kept showing up, and that's the thing that drove her to ask me. She was like, oh, that's her, because she only has this amount of followers. I think I might have had 1,600 followers, 12 to 1,600 followers at the time that she chose me. But I was showing up like I had 1 million. You know what I'm saying? And I think that helps people, going back to the money situation, know that people see you, they don't say anything, because they were tagging me, and I'm looking for Birmingham content creators. I didn't know what a content creator was, and so I was like, why are people tagging me? I'm a podcaster. I'm not a content creator. Duh, Jessica, you are a content creator. But so I was confused on to that, but then I just like agree with it. I was like, hey, Miss Tab, I would love to, the opportunity. And then I got the opportunity, and this is why I love talking about this, because this is part of strategy. It's important to strategize for the things that you want to do. So if I know that I'm going to be consistent, and I understand this is a journey, I'm already looking forward. Like right now, I'm looking forward to next year. That's why I'm excited about Podcast Summit, because I'm ready to plan for next year. So I started planning. Me and Desiree, who's my producer, my best friend, my ace boom boom, we go somewhere every year, and we plan for the following year for the podcast. Who do we want to have? What do we want to focus on? What did we do well on? What do we need to change? We have this discussion. And so at our very first one, we were like, man, the 100th episode is coming up. And we were just sitting down at the table. I was like, who do we now? What do we need to do? And she looked at me, she said, what about if we get Miss Tab? And I was like, you think she'll do it? She was like, ask her. So I asked her right then, thinking it was going to take a moment for her to respond. And she responded in like the next 10 minutes and told me what I needed to do to make sure our calendar was free. And we made it happen. Like we flew out to California, got to see Kev on Stage Studios. It was just a beautiful experience. And that's why I love my podcast name is Just Ask. The Bible talks about asking, it shall be given to you. Seek, you shall find. Knocking, the door shall be open. You don't get anything without asking a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? People don't know what's in your mind. And so we asked and had that experience with Miss Tab. And now it goes down in history that Jessica interviewed Miss Tab on her 100th episode. And I think the conversation itself about obedience was very needed at the time that we did it. So,
Desiree, I'm curious. When did she in your process? What's her role? When did she come in, and how does she help you? Get through this journey that you're going on.
Oh, that is a good question. I love talking about Desiree. If I cry, it's because of my love for her.
Okay.
So, Desiree, I have to tell you this part. So Desiree and I met. I have a spiritual mother as well. Her name is Dr. D. Funby. She owns the Link and on the east side of Birmingham. Okay. And so her and her husband, J.D. Funby. And so she had a community called Push Nation. Mm-hmm. And Desiree and I were in that community together. Weren't really trying to, network or anything. We knew each other. I knew that she, was a photographer, because everybody in the community was trying to use her. And I was like, I'm not going to use this girl just because everybody in the community using her. I try to stay away from her. And so fast forward, I needed some shots done. But I liked the look I was going for was what she had already produced. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna reach out to her, support her. And she did them. And I think that kind of just struck up another level of our relationship. And so we weren't just doing like friendship like that, like on that level, but it was like I had started to get comfortable with her. So one day she reached out to me. And she saw I had been doing my first season. At that point, I was doing seasons. Okay. Whatever. We'll get to that another day. But at that point, I was doing seasons. Didn't really have a good excuse for it. And so I had finished my first season. I had started my second season, but I wasn't consistent because I had a regular camera. I mean, I was trying to, instead of using my phone and stuff like that, I was trying to use this camera, and it kept going out on me. I was using Riverside, which is still a great tool. Yeah. I was just trying to figure out this stuff by myself, right? But she knew what she was trying to learn and package her in, because she had people asking. So she called me one day and said, hey, Jessica, what would it look like, for me to start in this business? Just start asking me questions, and treated me like I was an expert at a time where I didn't know what I was doing. And she tricked me. She knew what she was doing. She was trying to help me because the Lord sent her. And so she was like, well, can I help you finish your second season? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, how much? She was like, no, don't worry about it. I was like, no, I want to pay because I didn't feel deserving of the help, right? And so fast forward, we get to end of season 2. She was like, all right, we need to figure out what's the next step. So she was invested. And you say, how does she help? I think it's easier to ask, how doesn't she help? Desiree is my rib to just ask. She keeps me solid. She keeps me settled. Desiree is the reason why I've been able to overcome overthinking about my progression here. I've grown so much just based off her brilliance. And she's pushed me, I've pushed her. And she just helped me remember, like, yeah, other podcasts might be doing something or one thing, but Jessica, this podcast don't belong to us. It belongs to the Lord, and we're going to operate that way, because it can be intimidating when you listen to people say, you need to do this, you need to do that, X, Y, Z. But Holy Spirit led me here, so he's got to keep me here. And so I'm adamant about the 2 being better than 1. There's a scripture that talks about that, 2 being better than 1. People see people see Jessica, but there is no Jessica, not in this realm, without Desiree. And so, yeah, she's what technically, logically, what she does on paper. She's my producer. So that means she edits or whatever. She's also my co-host. So I don't necessarily have solo episodes because I've brought her from around the camera to have those conversations, and people tend to love those conversations that we have. So.
For you work with people developing their podcast, getting it to the next level, and I may have missed it, I may have heard it, but it's interesting because having the team like that. So the person that's that solo podcaster, do you think it's important for them to say, hey, find someone, maybe you don't have a budget, maybe they're not necessarily involved in the process, but finding someone that could at least somehow, some way be a part of that team? How important do you think that is for someone who's that solo podcaster that, is trying to develop their podcast, and having somebody else kind of in the picture?
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah. So I think that for me, let me just talk about my journey. I think it was necessary for me to know what was going on with my podcast, right? I think it was necessary for me to go through the hoops to not only appreciate when help came, but to be able to tell the help what I wanted.
Okay.
If you don't know and you don't have the language for it, you don't need a team.
Okay.
All right. So you need to know and have the language for what you want and desire. Otherwise, you'll be expecting them to do everything and think for you. I don't need to think for you. I need to assist you with what you're thinking. Okay. And so what I would advise somebody to do is, if they're doing solo episodes, now if you have the budget for it, go off. Right, you know what I'm saying? Right. But we're talking about people that don't have the budget for it, which typically are the people that we're talking to, right? And so when you don't have the budget for it, I would say, first of all, use what you have, right? Use your phone. That's the biggest mistake I made. I was already using my phone, but I was, I don't know. I had gotten this crazy mindset that I just needed a camera, and my phone worked better than the camera, and didn't think back about picking it back up. Yeah. So use what you have, and then learn as much as you can. There's so much free information out there. I'm gonna go back to Omar El-Takor. He's big on being able to teach stuff on his podcast. Think Media is a big one. I utilize, and even David is now doing more, having more opportunities where he's teaching lives and all that stuff like that about podcasting. There is no reason why you shouldn't have the knowledge or the bare minimum. In getting communities like the 7-Figure Podcast community, that was great for me. And so for somebody doing solo, I would say, get your feet wet, like do it ugly. That's why I call it. Do it ugly first, so you can know what you want. Because when the help comes, now you can direct them and say, hey, this is what I've done, and they can enhance what you've done. That's what Desiree did. She didn't come in and do the podcast for me. She didn't come in and just say, hey, this is what you need to do. No, she said, Jessica, what are you doing? And if you have no answer for that, then you might need to reconsider. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you have the budget for it, and you have a creative, someone that can just handle the screens and stuff like that, and you need to still be able to direct them and say, hey, I like how these 3 podcasts look. I don't like this. How can we manage that? Just so that you all can be on the same page. But I also think it's better to be able to be more hands-on in the front end with your own podcast.
So I think you may have mentioned this, but I want to dive into it a little bit more. The name of your podcast is Just Ask.
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
So Just Ask. What's interesting is, remember I had told you that I was already on YouTube.
Right.
Okay, so I had another organization called Naturally Devoted. Mm-hmm. It was a magazine, right? So Naturally Devoted was a quarterly magazine, and I was on the cover of it and it was just going through different things, and it was targeting women of faith. And so I wanted to transcribe that magazine in a another visual standpoint. So I did Naturally Devoted presents Just Ask. And so as I was, thinking about the name, I was already reading Matthew. And so Matthew, I think it's Matthew 7:7 if I'm not mistaken. I think it's Matthew 7:7, but because I don't even remember the location. Okay. But I do know that it's asking you shall be given, seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be open. I was like, and the Lord in that season was telling me to just ask. Ask for what I wanted, ask for what I saw, ask for what I needed. And because my name is Jess and Just, I just thought it was very, befitting that, but since I would be asking the questions and all the stuff like that. So it was just a marketing twist mixed with a spiritual obedience.
So the entrepreneur side of you, what does that include? What are you doing as a business?
I help people with what I've done for myself. So Desiree and I, we're business partners. Well, two sides to it. So I coach individually. So I help people. It's so many things, but not primarily with their podcast and coaching them through it. So I have sessions with them. Also with me, Desiree, our business called Increased Media. We give people the virtual experience to be able to manage their podcast. So all they have to do is record, and we manage all the back end, and then I'm still coaching you through it. She's editing, getting clips, all that good stuff, all the nuances of the podcast, the back end work that people don't know about, and when they find out about, that's what makes them quit. We manage that part.
The headache.
Yeah.
Okay. You manage that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into social media. I see you're active, of course, on. I picked out 4 platforms, and I guess I want to start off with Facebook. What's your feel and what's your thought on Facebook? Are you comfortable with what you're doing? Any chance of increasing or changing? What's your thought when it just comes to the platform on Facebook? Has it helped?
Facebook has helped, right? They need to stop changing so much.
I hope you're enjoying the conversation. Just wanted to take a little break. I need you to do a couple of things. First, like this video, subscribe to the channel. The next thing is, are you a service-based business owner? And are you struggling to grow on social media? Are you struggling to get the customers and the clients that you truly want from your social media? Well, I've got 3 proven methods that I want to share with you. These methods I use and my clients use to grow their social media and to get the customers that they want, the customers and the clients that they want. Go ahead and go into the description, click the link, and I'll send these steps right over to you. Let's get back to the conversation.
Just been just trying to be myself, just record anytime I think about oh, I should record this thought, just being more intentional about sharing who I am, because you're right. My YouTube and my TikTok, you get the real Jessica, but I'm very professional when it comes to being a podcast.
I don't necessarily think you're not professional on TikTok, but I think that I'll tell anybody if they're not following you on TikTok, they need to follow you on TikTok, because if it's like you having a bad day, your TikTok gonna hook somebody up. So you were doing a live lunch. Are you still doing that?
No, I've thought about it.
Okay.
I've thought about it. I think that when I enter into full-time entrepreneurship, I'm going to get back to that. That's going to be something I'm more consistent at. But with my schedule now, I still work a 9 to 5.
Okay.
So at that point, I knew that I was going to be able to take my lunch at that time. And my goal, I challenged myself at that time to get to 10,000 followers. As at the time, I didn't have 10,000 followers. Okay. So that lunch with Jess was an initiative to get to those 10,000 followers. But I think people have been asking me about that. I'm like, when you gonna do that again? And I'm like, sooner than later, because I want to be consistent when I strike that back up.
What are your thoughts? And this is with all platforms, with monetizing on the platforms. Has that something you're doing? Has that something you've looked into or thought about the actual platform?
They pay me on the platform, but I think that's why I go back to the whole business situation. When you have business and you have something that you're able to market, people get to take them with you, right? So like if I have an offer and people like me and I'm influencing them and I have an offer, that means they say, hey, I'm gonna buy this because I want to take you with me. And that's what I've had to learn. And so I didn't have anything that they could take with them, right? I'm working on some things right now that people can actually download, or I'm actually working on like books and stuff like that. Supposed to been done. Okay. Yeah, but I haven't completed it, and so I've had missed opportunities.
So we get timestamp. So what you got next coming out? So.
Ask me after TEDx.
Okay. All right.
Ask me after TEDx.
Okay. When is TEDx?
TEDx is August 1st.
Sweet. Congratulations.
Yes. I never imagined. Wow. I would be on a TEDx or TED Talk, anything. And so I'm really excited about this experience. And so, but like writing the book and getting it done, I have several books in me. I just have to get them out and stop living in the perfectionism. That's my kryptonite. The perfectionism. Is that right? The kryptonite. Perfectionism comes to cease me from moving forward. Yes, it definitely
can. I love this because when you're coaching us, you do get vulnerable and mention, look, I'm not just telling y'all to correct it because I'm telling you because I'm feeling this too. So you do put that out there. Back on TikTok, would you advise someone if they're wanting to build their TikTok that the lives are a good way to go?
Yes, most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. And don't be discouraged by the numbers that you see initially, right? Because you got to count every number. You have to count every number because it only took one Jesus to come and save us from our sins, give us an opportunity for salvation. It only took one. So sometimes because we comparing ourselves, we misappropriate the audience. So it would be some days, it would be one person I was talking to on lunch with just. It would be some days I had like 20 something people. Okay. It was one day I was like, it was a couple hundred people. I was like, wait, hold up, I wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't every day. Right. And so these people that you're seeing that have thousands of people online, they had to start. Tabitha Brown talks about it all the time. Like, Lord, you wanted me to come on this platform and go live, and the only people that know me are my family and friends. And now years later, the whole world calls her auntie and mom. You know what I'm saying? And so I think we discredit that. And so lives, I would strongly suggest treating somebody. I was talking to somebody, I can't remember, but somebody told me you need to start treating TikTok it was Brittany Monique. Okay. She did not tell me this personally, but she posted this. Brittany Monique is Big Daddy in them. She's in Birmingham. She has dogs or whatever. People know her for how she takes care of her dogs. Okay. Very phenomenal young lady. She was like, I treat TikTok like Snapchat. Or like anytime I want to say something, I just say it and post it. Okay. And so after she said that, I was like, that's what I just need to do. And stop thinking like everything had to sound good or righteous, or you know what I'm saying, like holy now, speaking in tongues, praying for the people. Well, it ain't have to do all that. You definitely go. You have a thought, you put it out there, and it's. I think a lot of people. It takes courage to do that, so I can appreciate that. Because you put it out there, and it's good stuff. I just had a thought. This is coming outside of social media, but I'm really curious. Who are some people that inspire you? Who are some people that inspire me? That's good. Well, I've named a lot of them. I've named a lot of course, David, Omar, my friend Ladarius Hutchinson. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he is I want to call him a food critic, but but that's primarily his lane. But he does other stuff as well. Okay. my spiritual mom, D. Fumby, inspires me. My sister, Kendall, tried it. I might as well call her a food critic at this point. Like, we motivate each other. That's my dog. Like, that's my best friend. Of course, Miss Tabitha. I'm trying to say people that like I haven't said already because everybody I've mentioned really inspire me. But those are the people I consistently follow. I also have a friend. He has a podcast. He's also on this thing called The Morning Ox, and his podcast is called Top 5 Plus Hustle. His name is Kerry. Call him K Boogie. The way he thinks is so phenomenal. Like, I love people that will stretch my thinking.
And you just interviewed him.
I did just interview him. Yeah. Did you enjoy that interview? Yeah.
Like, you respect the brother, who's married, and he's expressing his relationship, with his wife and stuff like that. So he's just a dope. Yeah.
His mind, like that's one thing I love about podcasts. Like, you get into the minds of people, and so I'm really inspired. But one more person that is not on social media that I'm inspired by is my first mentor ever. His name is Ben Shaka. He was my principal when I was in high school. And just his story, just his surrenderance to God, and just like how he's maneuvered greatly in silence, for me, has inspired me. And so I think about him very often when I'm moving and just making sure that I'm still in alignment with the Lord and not looking for the fame or looking for attention or popularity, that I'm still submitted in a low place. You know what I'm saying? Like, remaining low in a high place. That's what I meant to say.
Well, I got a lot from you today. I could ask more, but I don't want. I know you've had a day. I don't want to hold you up. My last question is: you mentioned like planning for the next year. So what's next for you? What's going to be that next level for you?
So currently I'm navigating through that right now. I haven't pinpointed because that's something Desiree and I wait till after podcast summit, because sometimes what you hear, but definitely what we're working on. I can give you more sponsorships, getting sponsorships for the podcast, growing the safe space community, which is attached
to TikTok. Safe space.
The safe space. Well, it's attached to podcast or whatever, but there's women that we're actually about to get ready to go on a retreat at the end of the month. But it's a very intimate community to where not only are we talking about faith, but I'm saying, hey, how do you execute your faith in business? Like, how can you stop acting like you're this imposter when God has called you? So it's just pushing people along where that balance of marketplace and ministry meet, just in a unique way. So it's very much so a safe space in that. So growing the safe space, getting sponsorships, hopefully getting some product to sell for the podcast.
Yeah, I want the affiliate link. So
Most definitely. Just send it out. So that's what we're looking forward to, be able to monetize more for our platform.
Jess, I am honored. I appreciate you taking the time to come out and speak. This has been great.
Yeah.
This has been great. You've given us some nuggets. So I hope my cameraman has wrote some stuff down. Because and then of course I got the video to back it up, but I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting you. People assume that I always get invited places, but no, I just being, invited.
Well, that's your, you have to just ask, and it's just like if you don't ask, the answer is always no. But yes, I did assume that she's probably like super busy. I was telling him, I was like, but you know what, I'm gonna ask him. I was like, she responded. I was like, oh shoot.
But I tell y'all that every week. Hey, if you write me, I'm going to respond. I mean, it might take a minute.
It's one thing writing you and ask you a question, and something else saying, hey, can you come on my platform?
But I still say, if you write me.
Yeah.
That's what I said, right?
Yeah, you did.
That's what we missed.
Yeah.
If I write Jessica, she said she was going to respond.
Yeah.
So what you write is up to you.
Right.
Okay.
But yes, you responded, but excellent. I admire your journey. Just meeting you and just looking through everything you're doing and you just being open, extremely inspiring. So I really appreciate that. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to your next chapter, everything that you're doing. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So definitely just check out the podcast, great podcast. Thanks again. And that's a wrap.